Right now, we live in a time where superhero media has completely taken over the world. I mean, if you're not an MCU fan nowadays, people would treat you like the spawn of Satan. You have DC movies and shows, then you have Marvel movies and their shows all coming out at the same time, and Marvel and DC topics are always trending on Twitter. Like, it's literally impossible to escape superhero media nowadays. I remember people used to get bullied for liking superheroes, and now you get bullied for not liking them.
We live in a society.
Now, several comics, which have been adapted into shows and movies, have almost mocked superhero media, or at least showcased how superheroes would actually fit into this world. The MCU has dipped its toes in this subject with Captain America: Civil War and most recently with The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. However, a new superhero series has sprung up on Amazon Prime titled Of all the shows I've seen so far this year, very few of them have managed to hook me by the first episode, and the ones that have were all animated shows, so that's a huge win for animation this year. Invincible has joined that list of shows that hooked me by the first episode. This show works both for first-time animated superhero viewers and for people who grew up watching things like the DC animated universe, such as the Justice League animated series, in terms of style and overall feel in the first episode at least. What makes it stand out is how the tone misleads the viewer by intentionally playing it safe for most of the first episode up until the last couple of minutes, which is what sealed the deal for a lot of people, including myself, regarding whether they wanted to continue the series or not. Unfortunately, I can't speak about the rest of the series past the first episode because it's pretty much entirely spoilers after that. However, I'll give my thoughts without spoiling anything until the spoiler segment later in the video.
Guess who's finally getting his powers?
Invincible tells the story of Mark Grayson, the son of Omni-Man who is this world's equivalent to Superman, as he develops powers in high school and has to learn how to juggle his personal life with his superhero life. Sounds pretty familiar, right? Essentially, it's a Spider-Man show, and if it were, it'd probably be the best one. Not counting Spectacular Spider-Man, of course. The cast is also incredible. Mark Grayson is voiced by Steven Yeun, Debbie Grayson is voiced by Sandra Oh, and Omni-Man is voiced by none other than J.K. Simmons.
But wait! There's more!
That's only the main cast too. Other notable names that show up in this series are Gillian Jacobs, Zazie Bates, Walton Goggins, Mark Hamill, Clancy Brown, Seth Rogen, and many more names that you may recognize. The cast is kind of what put the show on my radar, and the fact that everybody and their mom was talking about the series. The show follows a mystery plotline on top of the superhero stuff, which results in probably one of my favorite season finales of all time. The characters are, for the most part, very well written, although there are a few issues I have with certain decisions, which I hope to resolve in the second season. The animation can be choppy at times, but the story and characters definitely make up for it. But the biggest part of this show for some people are the fights. Fights are just so well done and can be super exciting at times. This show has to be one of the goriest animated series I've seen since Happy Tree Friends. One of my favorite things about this series is the way it gives attention to collateral damage, and we see heroes focus on clearing the area before actually confronting the enemy. The attention to collateral damage can work in the favor of the heroes, or it can work in the favor of the villain. It really gives more life to the world around their characters instead of just feeling like a fighting arena out of Mortal Kombat. This is also something I liked about Batman v Superman, The Boys, and Civil War, or at least the parts that touch on the Sokovia Accords and collateral damage, which is like the first 15 minutes or so. I've tried not to reveal as much as I could up to this point for the people that haven't watched the series, and I hope that my opinion on the show has managed to sway you into giving it a chance. From this point forward, I'm going to discuss spoilers, and I mean like heavy spoilers. So if you don't want the show spoiled for you, skip to this timestamp on screen. If you've seen the series or you don't care about spoilers and you're curious, then keep watching. Okay, if you're still watching, I'm gonna assume you've seen the series or don't care about spoilers.
So, back to it.
Holy fuck. Because of the majority of the first episode, I was not expecting the last like 10 minutes. I will never forget my reaction when I noticed Omni-Man flying behind the Immortal. My jaw dropped. I hadn't been that shocked since watching Cat pick up Mjolnir in Endgame. And seeing Red Rush get his face crushed had me even more shocked. Seeing Omni-Man kill the Guardians of the Globe, who were basically the Justice League, was amazing in a non-weird way. The best part is that this scene is what drives the story for the rest of the season with the mystery plotline, which acts as dramatic irony to the audience because we know who's responsible, but the intrigue lies in how the characters find out. This happens quite a few times throughout the series, such as when Titan takes over Machine Head's empire after getting help from Mark, and Mark doesn't even know about it, but we do. I also love how episodes that should be irrelevant, like the whole college episode, actually turn out to be setups for future events, such as the robo-zombie people, which come back in the later episodes as a mean to slow Omni-Man down, and then in the finale it's revealed that Cecil's creating an army of them. Even small moments like Cecil telling Donald to put the kaiju on ice because it could be useful get their own payoffs later on, which feels satisfying and makes sense. Essentially, they're Chekhov's guns, which actually turn out to be useful, which is unfortunately uncommon nowadays in films and shows. Anyways, I have to talk about the finale. I can't hold it in anymore. The finale shocked me, broke my heart, and hyped me up all in the span of like under an hour. The finale is where collateral damage plays a huge part, especially when Omni-Man is flinging Mark through the city and we see him flying into cars and people, and then we even see Mark trying to stop a building from collapsing, only for the people he's trying to save to fall out and die regardless. And the craziest moment, which the show never prepares you for, is the train scene. Remember the train scene from Spider-Man 2? Remember how uplifting it was to see the people of the train stand up for Spider-Man when Dr. Octopus was trying to get him? Well, stop imagining it, because this next part is about to shatter that scene.
Maybe this time you'll learn.
This series does not hold back, and I love it for that. A small detail I love is that as the series gets more brutal, the title cards get bloodier. It's small, but it goes a long way. The whole final fight between Mark and Omni-Man is so heartbreaking after we're shown earlier in the series that Mark aspired to be like his father.
It's all I ever wanted for as long as I can remember. I want to do what you do. I want to be just like you.
Only for his father to end up being a psychopathic alien from another world that beats the shit out of him. The scene hits harder when they throw in a flashback of younger Mark in there while Omni-Man is just beating him down. But this moment shows us that Omni-Man still has some humanity in him, despite what he's done. Invincible is just cinema. It's one of the best shows so far this year, and I'm more than excited for seasons 2 and 3. Especially after everything that was set up in the season finale. If you're still debating whether you should watch this show, I think you should at least watch the first episode all the way through. And I mean all the way through. Despite a few nitpicks I have, I overall really enjoyed this series. I love the animation, I love the performances, and I especially love the characters. I gotta give this series a 9.5 out of 10 and a guy with a mic seal of approval. If that has any significance to you. Anyways, this has been my explanation for why you should watch Invincible.